All right. Good morning to all. It is currently 6:25 a.m. for me over in Coolidge, Arizona, and it is the 11th of October. This is going to be one of two sessions this weekend on the weekend of October 11th and 12th, 2025, where in attempts to make up for 3 months of just nothing, well, we have the new Truck Stop Dick Pill session out. That is going to be episode 102. We are currently in an editing process of episode 103, which would be intestinectomy with Jax and Tony. We have episode 104, which is going to be with Ramon and Drake Gamble of Epidemectomy. We have these two this weekend. And then next week, the intention, if we can make it happen, will not be just one, not just two, but three different sessions, let alone not mentioning the fact that next Friday, on the 17th of October, kickstarts the process, the beginning of the process of one of our biggest Crosscast opportunities of 2025. This opportunity, kickstarting on the 17th as well, will allude to an overseas band and their album that will be coming out on Halloween of 2025. And therefore, throughout the entire month of October in the year 2025, I do believe we should be looking forward to 6 new Crosscast sessions. And this doesn't even begin to talk about us continuing slowly but surely on getting caught up on both social media promotion and the re-uploading of the entirety of the Anatomy Crosscast at this point, from the point of episode 40 to 101. But this morning, we go across the ocean again. We go across the Atlantic again. And technically, we haven't interviewed a band yet that was located directly in Romania, but we did interview Pathogenic Virulence, in which the two members that we hosted from that band so far to promote their latest album, Scourged, at the time, they were originally from Romania. So, this morning, we finally interview a band over in Romania. Not only that, but I do believe this will be the 4th or 5th one-man band. The band's name is Insanity Deification. They have an EP, one EP out with 4 songs, and according to Apple Music, they have a remixed version of that 4-track EP, and they also have 1 single out. But, good morning, sir. How are we doing? You said you were tired before the gym.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm trying to lose some weight, basically, because, yeah,
Fair
it's
enough.
it's a difficult process because I'm trying to lose some weight, but at the same time I want to keep some of my muscles, so, yeah.
That is indeed the struggle that I myself am going through right now, simply because in Arizona, with it being one of the coziest state territories in the entire United States of America, right? Well, our falls and winters don't exist, so it's ironic, really, that I am still working on melting off the extra fat and the overweightedness that I ended up stacking unto myself from that of the year 2022 when I was over in a separate state territory over in Tennessee. Well, the weather was a little bit more normal over there. It was actually a nice Goldilocks like weather scenario where it wasn't too cold, wasn't too hot, but you did get all 4 seasons. And I'll tell you what, I felt like being inside of a Hallmark Christmas card half the time, or a Hallmark postcard. But because I never melted off the excess weight that I gained over in Tennessee back in 2022, well, now I'm in that very similar position where I'm trying to melt off as much weight as possible, but at the same time, maybe just adjust the muscle to fat ratio of my current weight, meaning I'm probably 260, 270, but at least a good 40 pounds of that is just fat. I'm trying to turn that fat into muscle now. And unfortunately, because I don't have gym membership or anything like that, and I've been as busy as I have been with everything, just getting back to work on everything recently, well, sometimes you don't really have the time to devote any time at all to those activities on the side. And, well, that is the first world struggle of today.
Yeah, I'm trying to find time for everything basically. So sometimes I'm just waking up at 6 a.m., 7 a.m. to go to the gym. And then usually I like to rehearse 2 hours after that. So I'm trying to keep a schedule.
Yeah, develop a routine maybe.
Yeah. Because, yeah, nowadays it's pretty difficult. Actually, the last year before I finished college was a mess.
I'm sure.
I had to wake up. To go to the gym, 2 hours maybe, then come back home, rehearse another 2 hours, and then till 8 p.m. I was at college all day. So
yeah, it's usually when you're younger that people kind of encourage and push you. They're like, well, test your limits now, because your limits will start to plummet and lower as you get older. Or, that just comes with the trial and error of experimenting with routines, and maybe some of those routines failing, backfiring, and then you got burnout, or you just become really, really unmotivated. You tell yourself, I don't think I was made for this. So before, we continue, of course, that way we can put names to faces, right? You are the one-man contributor to this project so far, unless I am mistaken. Yep. So what is your name, my friend? We never even discussed that in the DMs.
Yes. Yes. So my name is Filip Gărlonța, like Filip this Gărlonța. Yeah, but on the internet you can find it as Garlonta.
Okay.
Because and C are some Romanian letters, so.
Okay, cool. So Filip Gărlonța.
Yeah.
That's actually a pretty strong name. I like that. I never thought that I guess I would be hearing of someone named Filip from Romania. I don't know why, but that's just like the first thing that comes to my mind. I'm like, that's a Romanian name. And like, obviously, like you just said, it's spelt a little bit different, but I'm like, wait, does Filip originate from Romania? Like, how niche or interesting of a fact would that be, right? And in fact, while we're, in a podcast and an interview, why don't we go ahead and take a second to look it up? How interesting would that be? You know what I mean? Is Filip a name that originated in Romania? I don't think so, but we'll see. Okay, no.
I have no idea either.
So, just to kind of scratch.
It's from France.
Ironically, no. So, quote, no, the name Filip is of Greek origin, not Romanian. The Romanian...
yes, it means horse lover.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Romanian version of the name is Filip with an F, but it derives from the same Greek roots. The name comes from the ancient Greek name Philippos. It is a compound of two Greek words, philos meaning dear or loving, and hippos meaning horse. The name
Yeah.
therefore translates to lover of horses or fond of horses. The name became prominent with antiquity through figures like Philip II of Macedon, the father of Alexander the Great. Oh, wow. It spread throughout Europe with the expansion of Christianity, partly due to Philip the Apostle. Okay, cool. Well, a little interesting factoid for all of our listeners. Definitely trying to be more educational just for the sake of doing so. But, sir, continuing our conversation, we're talking about routine, we're talking about patterns. And, I mean, I've
Yeah.
interviewed now a good chunk of musicians from all across the world who happen to be doing one-man band projects. We mainly would mention Agung of Makluk from Jakarta, Indonesia. We could mention that of Beelzebub, and he's based here in the U.S. We have Nick from Backyard Savagery, which would then have been our first one-man slam band musician. Technically, what is it, Jax from Intestinectomy, who's local to where I am, and now we got you. So I guess right off the bat, we could, and we absolutely will, have to indulge upon your story and, kind of get us introduced to Mr. Filip of that of Insanity Deification. And let's start at the very beginning, sir.
Well, basically, I mean, I'm playing in a lot of bands, so I like to try different type of styles and stuff and techniques on guitar. So I just, I can say I randomly made a song that didn't fit in any other bands I'm playing in. So yeah, this is how it happened.
So Insanity
Basically.
Deification.
Oh, I like, yeah. So basically, I did a song. Then I said, okay, it works, but I need like maybe 3 or 4 more songs to release something, because I don't like to release singles like as debut.
Fair enough.
You know.
Okay. Well, this is different then. We have a little bit of a curveball thrown in there into the plot of what I thought to be possibly your only project that you've been involved in, as beforehand,
Yeah.
usually the niche of people being the only person in a project is because they haven't really found anyone else to participate in the project with them. Instead, this time, we have someone who has the instrumental capabilities to hold their own and devise a project on their own. But they do have other projects. So of course we will be looking to ask about those other projects as this next hour and a half or so proceeds. But let's go ahead then and, with that plot twist in mind, let's rewind all the way back to the very, very beginning of you becoming a musician, a musical enthusiast, and an instrumentalist. Let's figure out what instrument you started out with, if you did, or maybe
Guitar.
Guitar, right? Okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
When I was, I think, 12 or 13, my mother bought me a guitar. I didn't take any guitar lesson or something like that, so I don't know any music theory. I just play by ear, and basically I'm a self-taught guitarist. So
okay.
of course was a bit difficult for me to learn everything, and I could say I progressed pretty slowly. Uh, but yeah, I still have a lot to learn. So I don't consider myself a good guitarist, but I can play most of the riffs I usually have in my mind, or I can, if I struggle, I can learn a pretty difficult song. So yeah, I try to do better every time. So this is why I say I have a lot to learn still.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing with being a musician is no matter how much you learn, whether it be genre jumping to figure out different rhythms or different time signatures, or just learning new songs because a genre that you want to participate in is so overly complicated that it takes those years to learn. Subgenres like gent or thal, that requires very, very pristine and almost not even foreign, but it requires a precision in rhythm structure that then almost makes you sound like you're not even from this world, right? It makes you sound extraterrestrial depending on the subgenre. Well, there's always something to learn. And I feel very, very like in that conversation specifically, in that context, it's like I don't even understand how to play most of that stuff because I wish I could call myself a seasoned musician, but whether during the time of me owning a bass guitar or utilizing acoustic guitars, having acoustic guitar classes in high school, well, in the end, after all that time, I didn't really end up jumping into guitar as much as I was planning to, and that's really what the future will be for. So what I'm trying to say is, like, of course, from an outsider perspective, I only understand so much as far as the actual learning process of becoming a better musician. But no matter what level you're at or what instrument you're doing, there's always something new to learn. And I think that's what's really
Yes,
charming about music, but it can also become frustrating when becoming a better musician.
yes,
So,
yes, yes. I mean, that's the whole point and the interesting part, as you said, or the magic about doing music and trying different things that later you can apply to your songs, or you know. But yes, some stuff is much more easier to do, and some stuff is almost impossible. So this is why for I think for 3 or 4 years I started doing a lot of covers because I feel in that way I can learn more techniques to through other someone else's composition or someone else's visions, and of
easily.
course there is always something to learn from somebody.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm open all the time. I'm open to suggestions, or no.
Right. So
I
then
mean,
your mother ended up helping you kickstart the journey that you went on by getting you a guitar. Now, if I may ask, do you remember what kind of guitar it was, or was it kind of a more like traditional, like nylon 8 string acoustic guitar? Like, could you take us
and
back to that?
it was actually a cheap electric guitar from a market. Was like some a Christmas promotion. It was like a bundle with guitar and amplifier. It was like Clifton guitar. Is like a toy guitar, you know.
Right, right. Well, I mean, like the fact that you're
But
able to
yeah,
pinpoint a Clifton brand guitar that also came with the
yeah,
smaller amp, like that's important, man. That's important
yeah,
to be able to look back and still pinpoint that because sometimes you
yeah.
got these massive musicians who are like, man, I don't fucking remember my first guitar. The thing was a piece of shit. I'm like, well, yeah, it might have been a piece of shit, but like that's what got you started on what you're doing now.
Yeah,
So then she got you that guitar, the Clifton amp package during the holiday season, which, you know what, like
yeah,
I really look back on it, I think to it. I'm like, yeah, I've noticed a lot of musicians that I've hosted or had the opportunity and pleasure to host on this show. Some of them have started out that same exact way. It really does kickstart during the holiday season sometimes. It's like, well, you know what? Maybe this holiday season, while it's nice and cold, I'll start just riffing. and I won't even know I'm riffing until I am riffing. And then
Yeah,
they become
exactly,
these
exactly.
franchise guitarists and shit. These riff lords, these sweep riff lords. People like Adam D'Amico from Lorna Shore. Like sometimes it just starts with that one Christmas, that one faithful Christmas. So you continued going through your path after your mom got you that guitar. You realized that you had a
Yeah,
lot to
because
learn.
yeah, I mean, she saw I was passionate about it, so she thought it was a nice gift for me to buy that guitar. So was pretty strange actually to place my hands on a guitar like for the first time because I was thinking I don't know why I had that thought it is much more easier, but I was like I have no idea how to actually hold this, you know. Yes, and if you believe it, I think 1 year or so I played the guitar out of tune. I mean, yeah, I mean, was I was a kid, so I had an app of my phone to tune the guitar, but of course, it's not actually the same like a real tuner. So yeah, I was jamming the guitar like that. I was trying to figure it out how to do chugs and riffs and solos and stuff. So uh, after 3 years, I think yes, after 3 or 4 years or so, she bought me another guitar, a Cortex 6, I think. Yes, and from that point, I mean, it's a good brand. So from that point, I started. I was like, wow, it's a huge difference. It's a huge difference between that brand, and so of course was much more easier to play because that Clifton guitar had a neck like this, you know, was is pretty strange. Had like a bass neck.
Okay.
So yeah, from there actually I attempted to start a band, a black metal band. Yes, we released like one EP, but it's so bad recorded. I think you can still find it on YouTube. Yeah.
What's the project's name?
So yeah. Hmm?
What's the project's name?
Marax,
Mars?
it's
Okay.
called. Yeah, I mean, I think you can find it on my Metalum page on past bands.
Oh,
I
okay.
have no idea. I have no idea if it's still there or not.
He's like, I hope it's not.
So yeah, yeah, I hope it's not actually. So after that failed attempt, I started another one-man black metal project that uh, I kept for like another 4 years or so, or 3 years, something like that. But was those projects were like how can I say it, was like a learning stage for me,
Yeah,
how
it's a
to
learning
record,
process.
how to actually play. Yeah, it was like a learning process for me, and I started really getting it like 3 years ago or 4 years ago or something. So when I started playing death metal, I actually learned more how to do it, how to handle everything.
Nice.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
then,
It was from my point of view was a very long process to understand everything, how to sound tight, how to record, because I record everything at home. It's much more cheaper, you know.
yeah, definitely want to save money as often as possible when it comes to recording music, let alone in the long run, bigger picture, looking back, when a project kind of just becomes a learning process and it's like, yeah, I'm probably not going to be sticking with this the entire time, but this is more or less like, oh
Yeah,
yeah, this is a project of mine and I'm using this kind of as a notebook and figuring out what not to do and what to do. Well, obviously, it's like it's just it's a device for experimentalism. There you go.
Yeah. I mean, back then, I think I was like 16, 15, 16. I mean, I liked it, but now looking back, it's crap. I'm honest with you, it's crap. So, I
All
mean,
right.
I can hear now the guitars out of tune. So
Well, that's good.
the tempo was messed up. So yeah, it's a total mess. But that was a beginning.
There you go.
So at least I can say I'm proud of that. That was my beginning. It could have been much more worse.
So then, after this death metal project, which helped you understand tempo, it helped you understand how to record, possibly mix and master, and maybe this death metal project was like you said, the true beginning. Maybe because it helped you become a multi-instrumentalist and learn how to record everything on your own. What was the next step?
Well, I still have that project. It's a band now. Actually, we are releasing this month our fourth album. It will
Okay.
be released by Dance Script Records from Spain on CD. And I'm trying to find now some labels that can release it on vinyl maybe or on cassette.
Oh shit. Okay. What's the band's
So
name?
yeah, Necrotum.
Necrotomb?
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean you can still hear in the entire band discography that we are getting more tight, more better sounding with each release. So yeah, I can say I learned a lot with this band as well
Hell yeah.
because in the first releases I was trying to mix everything and master everything. Then I realized I really suck at this, so I better pay someone else to do it.
Well, sometimes too, having that sense of humility and understanding that maybe it's better to like have someone else help you with that. Well,
Yeah.
sometimes that's the way to go. Sometimes that's the way you need to go with it. So I'm trying to look for Necrotomb or the Necrotomb that you're a part of over on Instagram. And I noticed that just typing in Necrotomb did not do the magic. Is it on Instagram? Is this band on social
Yes,
media?
yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes, let me show you.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and link me that shit, because if this session goes well and you feel that maybe the Crosscast would be a good platform for Necrotomb as well, of course I would love to get something set up if we manage to have the time to do so this year. Oh, like Necrotum. Okay, I see.
Yeah, yeah.
Necrotumitum. Alright, so Necrotomb. Beautiful. There we go. This actually looks sick. I'm pretty sure I've seen this logo around before. Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Alright. So, this is Sean Cross interviewing Filip. Not Filipino. No. For Insanity Deification as we speak. But would love to get y'all on for your upcoming fourth album. Alright. Making history today. Alright. We got the DM ready to go. It's backwards right now. That probably doesn't help with the aesthetic. But yeah, message sent. And hopefully then we can get our like another Romanian local, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Just
Yeah.
I didn't want to assume maybe they're in like based in another country in Europe, because everything is so like tightly together. But yeah, hopefully we can get then Necrotomb on the the Anatomy Crosscast, whether for prior records
Yes,
or their
yes.
next fourth one. That would be pretty sick. So you got Necrotomb. This is something like you said that really kickstarted your journey as a multi-instrumentalist and a potential solo artist, and now that project has turned into a full-fledged band, and really all you need
Yeah.
is a record label to provide platform and more legitimacy or open the door for more opportunities for you guys, and that's awesome. I really wish that most of the other solo individuals in projects that then slowly climbed up the ranks, like for example Mokluk, I really, really do hope that one day they become a fully fledged band, because the way that Agung does his instrumentals and his music, it reminds me of AC/DC, but if AC/DC was based in Indonesia, and then it has like a deathcore twist on it, and I really dig that. And I feel bad because no matter what, it doesn't seem that anyone is interested in that project. So I hope that skyrockets and has the same effect and fulfillment that then Necrotomb has had. So, is Necrotomb at this moment and up to now your only other project?
No.
Okay,
No,
all right.
no, no, no.
So then
So,
we have Necrotomb in the timeline now. We figured out where that kind of kick-started, and that's become a bigger thing. What other projects are you in?
I'm also doing vocals in Putred. It's called a band. It's old school death metal, pretty much slow death metal.
Maybe like Drone or
I'm only
Doom?
doing the vocals. Not actually Doom. Is like more something like Hooded Menace, if you know the band. Incantation,
Mm.
a bit of Broken Hope, but it's like it has a very unique sound that I can't actually compare it.
Fair enough. Okay. Yeah, so it's slower. It's not
Okay.
Doom. It's not Drone, but it is just slower death metal. Okay.
Yeah, it's slow death metal basically. Then I did the vocals for Blood Rage from the UK. They invited me to do the vocals for their first EP and for the last EP. What else? Let's see. I also have a black death metal band called Chaos Insignia, but I'm just composing everything there, and I'm the guitarist, basically the rhythm guitarist. What else? I'm also playing guitar in a brutal technical death metal band called Malpraxis.
Okay.
Yeah, actually we released a single, I think the last year or 2 years ago, and we had as a guest Radu Vulpe from Pathogenic
There you
Virulence.
go. There you go. Making
Yeah,
those connections. Let's fucking go.
yeah, yeah.
It's awesome. You'll have to link me all these different projects, man.
Yes, yes. And what else? No, I think that's it. Oh,
Okay.
and also I play guitar in another death metal band called Vorus. But
Voros.
we are kind of the same guys from Putred, where I do only the vocals, but here I just play rhythm guitar. So yeah,
Okay.
are a lot of bands.
You have a lot of bands. Yeah. And as
Mm.
per something we've been saying a lot more recently, it's like, where do all of those projects, like, how do those, more or less a rhetorical question, right? But it's like, where do all these bands fit in your schedule, Like, we were talking about routine and trying to make time and have a sense of time management. And Mr. Philip over here has got like 6, 7 different bands. I'm like, I can't imagine. I can't even do that. So, in that
Now,
case, then,
uh,
what's up?
basically, we are just planning. Look, we are releasing something, like we want to release something in the next few months. So I only focus on that. So after I finish with
Oh,
that, I start something else with another band. So this is how basically I manage everything. No, because it would have been a mess to try and do everything at the same time because our different styles. So I need to get the right inspiration for each one.
I see. Okay. And see
Yeah,
that then begs another question that is really anatomy crosscast friendly. And then in reference specifically to insanity deification for this session and this session alone, right? Who knows if we can get these other
yeah.
projects on the show? Hopefully we can. So when it comes to zoning in then and writing for insanity deification, what are 5 albums or 5 bands that you have to listen to get into the mood for writing for this project?
So I think regurgitation with Tales of Necrophilia. Um, what else? Brodekin with Instruments of Torture. Uh, Eternal Suffering. Gorgasm with Masticate to Dominate. Uh, Despondency with God on Acid. I also like a lot Vomit the Soul from Italy, if you know the band. So yeah, basically I like chugs.
Chugs. Okay. So you got to
I
tune
like
into the
chugging
chugs.
riffs.
Okay. So, oh, where did I go? I'm still here, right? What? What happened? Okay. I think we're back now.
Oh, you didn't hear everything,
No, no,
anything I said.
no, I did, I did. I heard everything up until I need to hear chugs when I'm doing insanity
Ah, okay.
deification. So yeah, we're good to go.
Ah,
All right, so
okay.
then that kind of rearranges the usual order of the people part of the podcast and its questionnaire. But of course, for someone who is still located in Romania, this will allow, I think, for a really fresh take on location for Romania. So, in reference to, I do believe, the questionnaire that I sent you through email, then let's go ahead and migrate briefly into the location part of the conversation, right? So for our listeners all around the world, majority, it seems, in reference to the last upload and its statistics, a lot of people based over in Indonesia. Second place would be New Zealand. First place, let's be real, United States, but we're not talking about that, right? So we got fans all around the world listening to this show, which is really nice, and I appreciate everyone who did contribute to those original statistics. But I think we need to know what it's like over in Romania. So, question 1 regarding the topic of location would be, what is something about Romania that you think most people would not know about, that you think that they should, whether good or bad?
Well, people here are extremely friendly. It's an extremely safe country. Like I have a lot of friends from other countries, and they always tell me it's not safe to go outside. I don't know, after 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. Here, basically, you can do whatever you want. Nobody cares. Nobody will attack you. So it's a safe place with a lot of nice things to do and to see. So
Okay. So that would be a good thing compared to perhaps other countries in the European area. And I understand the context of why. Unfortunately, right now, it is not safe to be outside after like 8 p.m. in certain countries, whether in the UK or
yeah,
Europe. And I think, without saying too much, there's just a lot of experimentalism right now going on in most of Europe. And as someone from the U.S., I believe, of course, in the ability of self-defense and stuff. Some European countries find that to be irrelevant, and that's okay. But then after depriving certain mediums of self-defense, I think after that, emigration and immigration seem to be a big point, at least for the UK. A big reason that they're in active protest right now is because of like mass influx immigration and stuff. So that more or less I think would be my theorized context as to maybe why friends of yours from other countries around the area, around the continent, might
Yes.
be having those
Yes. Yes. Yes.
issues. But that's just a theory, right? I can't confirm that. I'm not in politics, especially not going to the scale of talking with world leaders at the UN Council or some shit. But Romania is a safe place, and that's good. It's a good start. So then what would you say kind of like counteracts and balances everything out? If you could change perhaps something about Romania, what would you change and why?
Uh, Maybe the mentality of most of the people here, because I don't know why. I mean, Romania was a communist country till 89, so that left left its mark pretty pretty bad on everybody here inside the country. So because of that, I feel some people are just not open to new things, are very closed-minded. I mean, not everybody's like that, just most of them are. So,
Right. So
yeah,
ironically then, you have a country, you have a nation where to new people or to your common neighbor, right? People are really, really nice. They're really hospitable. They don't exactly spit in your face as you're walking down the street or be like, hey, where the fuck are you going? Like, fuck you. And you're like, well, why'd you say fuck you?
oh
I didn't do
no,
anything to you. There's nothing like that. But maybe behind the scenes, a good majority of the population still finds necessity and a tetherment to former political ideas, that being of communism. After all,
yeah,
there were plenty of countries in Europe, let alone the ones closer to Russia, that up until the Soviet Union was disbanded, probably recognized and welcomed in communism with open arms. And I mean, there's Romania, there's I think Transylvania.
yeah. Transylvania, it's in Romania.
Right. Okay. Well, boom. There you go. I'm like, wait, is that a separate country? um, so then you have
It's like
Romania.
a region. It's like a
Yeah.
region.
So
I
then,
mean, I'm from Transylvania, so
are you? That's
from
cool.
that region.
That not
Yeah.
many people can say that, man. I'm just saying. Just like, yeah, I'm from Transylvania, and I got like a whole bunch of metal bands. That's fucking cool. That's sick.
I
But
mean, Dracula's castle is like 20 kilometers away from me, so
man, what I
I
would
can
do to
drive
go to
there.
Dracula's castle, man, that would be really fucking fun. But yeah, speaking upon all of that, back in the day, Transylvania and Romania was recognized as one of those darker, more ominous European countries where you have like werewolves and shit running around the woods.
Yeah.
So then I guess that would be your positive and negative take on Romania, things that you love, things that you would change. Let's go ahead and then dive headfirst into perhaps if you are a believer in those sorts of things. Maybe throughout your life growing up in Romania, and then more specifically, like you mentioned, growing up in Transylvania, which is really, really cool. Do you have any spookier stories or maybe supernatural occurrences that have happened throughout your life?
Mm, not really. Just uh, I live in the in like country area of my city. So a lot of stuff is happening here. And I think when I was a kid, I was hearing a lot of old people talking about demonic possessions. So by I had a lot of classmates, and they told me, "Look, my neighbor said she took her daughter to the church to the exorcist and stuff like that." So
That's not something you
yeah,
hear about often. I'm just saying that's pretty creepy in and of itself. It's just like, well, why do you need to have a pope come over to exorcise this person, this person? So then, Christianity, like, I'm not even sure what point it became prominent in Romania. But yeah, I mean, over time, throughout history, when the Anglo-Saxons and the British and all these other people started, like, sowing their seeds, if you will, into these European countries. Let's go ahead and look that up, actually. Why not? Why not, right? So,
yeah.
when did Christianity... I'll go ahead and voice this. When did Christianity reach its way over into Romania, possibly replacing older pagan beliefs and religions? Okay. So, Christianity spread into the region of modern-day Romania through gradual waves, beginning in the Roman era in the 3rd and 4th centuries CE. The transition from older Dacian pagan beliefs was a slow, complex process that blended traditions rather than one of abrupt replacement. Early Christianization, 1st to 4th. Trajan conquered Dacia in 106 CE. Christian teachings spread within the new Roman province of Dacia, primarily Transylvania and Oltenia, via Roman colonists and soldiers. Archaeological finds, including early Christian artifacts and a 3rd century church built on a former Roman temple, confirm the existence of early Christian communities. Maybe early martyrs, because that's another point. In Scythia Minor, Roman persecutions at the end of the 3rd century led to the martyrdom of Christians, including Sabas the Goth. That's cool. That's cool. Okay. The remains of martyrs from this period have been discovered in crypts in the region. Okay. Yeah. A little bit of history for you guys. Local to Romania, Transylvania, and other specific countries over there. So then, you heard these stories as a kid from your neighbors and classmates. It's like, oh yeah, someone's getting an exorcism done today. You're just like,
Yeah.
dude, it is way too early to be talking about exorcisms. I'm trying to do math. I'm just a kid. So then, growing up, I'm sure you were taught by older locals and maybe even neighbors, maybe your grandparents, maybe if they happen to be around still, because sometimes it does happen, maybe even your great-grandparents. So if you personally did not have any experiences, maybe you didn't happen to run into a werewolf emerging randomly from the woods on a random night, what were some of the creepier stories maybe that you heard from your own relatives? Maybe if you can look back and recall any stories that they might have told you.
Like their doors were opening randomly in the house, like uh, floating chairs actually, and I'm not
Yo.
joking.
See, that's what I'm
Uh,
talking about. That's a fucking story.
the possessed victim was talking in a deeper voice, like a demonic voice. They were knowing stuff that they shouldn't, because basically there was no chance they could have found that out, like knowing of the unknown.
That's cool. Yeah, that's haunting.
So,
And so did that
yeah.
occur with like personal friends or maybe people that your relatives knew? Like how close was that to you then?
people, relatives knew
Okay.
basically. So not that close to me.
Right, right. But it's just like more or less like two rooms over, metaphorically speaking. Well, it's still
Yeah, yeah.
that's pretty scary. It's pretty spooky, but that's
I mean,
cool.
I heard a lot of stories and similar stories. So hearing actually the same thing from different people, you tend to believe it.
Naturally, naturally. And
Yeah.
in your walk of life so far then, because of these stories that you've heard, you just said you hear it enough and you start to believe it. Do you think that all of these paranormal, supernatural occurrences are a common conception? Because, and the reason I ask that is because sometimes, despite all of the mountains of photographic evidence, video footage, sometimes people are still skeptical. They're like, I haven't seen it in person myself. So then, as per the Sean Cross brand, as well as the Anatomy Crosscast itself, which is, perspective episode by episode, a dissectomy or a dissectomy of the people that we interview. What's your, what is your wildest, if you've dug into them, I guess, conspiracy theory? Have you dug into any? What do you believe? What's like the strangest thing that you would be open to believing, I guess, in the realm of conspiracy theories?
Actually, I've seen three UFOs,
You've seen
if
three
that counts.
UFOs. Okay, that's
Yes,
cool.
yes. Yeah, actually, I was the first one I ever saw was when I was 17. I was on vacation in Greece, and it was very close. That's what I want to say. It was very close to me. Like I could see the details
Really?
on that ship. Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah.
Well, tell us
And
more. Tell us more.
what I remember is that that UFO had some red lightning, red circle lightning. I saw. I mean, I could pay enough attention to it because I saw it like for almost a minute.
Huh.
And when I was about to grab my phone to take a picture, it flew away. So
Damn. Okay. Okay. So,
yeah. Then the second time I saw one was actually, I don't remember. I think 4 years ago, but was more in the distance and was not an airplane because airplanes don't go like this
yo,
in the
yeah,
sky.
you're not
You know
wrong.
what I mean? Like airplanes don't fly like this. So,
Okay.
and it didn't had airplane shape. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. No, that's super cool. So that's two. You said you had like three?
yeah, and the third one I saw was similar to the second one, but was a bit more close. And I saw it like for 15 seconds, I think. Was just standing by, and then it flew away like this.
Oh,
And
that's cool. That is
yeah,
really cool. Not many people can say that,
yeah,
man. You happened upon some
yeah,
pretty cool stuff. And
yeah,
I don't know, there are definitely pop culture phenomenons that kickstarted maybe a year ago, like Dandadan, where the world of the supernatural and extraterrestrial collide in a really, really fun way. And then you have bands like Born of Osiris who have written records in the recent past, that of 2021, maybe 2023. Born of Osiris, right? Their latest album, full-length album, being Angel or Alien, or bands like Silent Planet, based in California, who have written albums like Super Bloom that talk about encounters with a third kind. So much interesting stuff that has been mentioned throughout true counterculture and various albums by bigger bands. But That, my friend, is cool. That's awesome. That you believe that you witnessed 3 different UFOs that were obviously within movement, or even maybe during the daylight or night, doesn't matter, drastic differences and distinguishments of physical appearance from that of terrestrial aircraft. Well, one can only imagine that that opened up your mind to a lot more stuff. So since then, since those 3 witnesses, those 3 sightings, and then of course everything you saw as a kid, what then are some things that you are not open to believing, that you think dwell within the term conspiracy theory? Like, they're so crazy that it's like it's impossible that these things actually exist or have occurred or are factual in their in their uh, in their claims, I guess.
I don't know what to say because I tend to now to believe actually everything. I mean, not literally everything, but
Right.
that idea might come from something, you know.
Yeah. Right.
And for example, those demonic possessions or UFO sightings are pretty old, I can say. I mean, people talk about demonic possession since medieval times or even older times,
Right.
you know. And considering that people didn't have the imagination they have nowadays, it's pretty hard to believe they were dying. You know what I
Right.
say?
Right. So maybe not regarding the idea of possessions or UFOs, but of course, as the world became more interconnected as of the beginning of this century, right? Well, there are a lot of things thrown out into the internet that maybe conjure or formulated the term conspiracy theory. So I guess trying to get a basis of like your boundaries when it comes to what you're willing to believe, right? What are some of the more ridiculous, not even crazy or extraordinary, just ridiculous things that you've seen maybe in your time diving into the world of the supernatural and paranormal? What are some things that you're like, yeah, I mean, that could happen, but I'm not too sure. That seems like a bunch of hokey pokey, you know?
Oh, actually, I have no idea. I mean, I read a lot of stuff, so I mean, some people tend to. I remember once I read an article about someone seeing an alien, and he was comparing the alien to some H.P. Lovecraft monster or something. So I found that funny.
Right, right. Fair enough. Well,
I mean, it can't be that bad.
right. If it's difficult then to find something that, even if it's funny, that you're not willing to believe in, what are some of the more crazy things that you think are out there, are available for us to learn about or develop an intuition for? And what are some of these crazier things that you are 100% on board with? Maybe bouncing off of, where you started, hearing about possessions, seeing UFOs. What is the craziest rabbit hole that you've gone down in the paranormal and supernatural world? What is the craziest thing that you're willing to believe at this time?
Well, I remember a story actually. Someone told me, like, two people were divorcing, basically. So the wife wanted to do to make something bad happen to her ex-husband, right? So she went to a witch, because witches are pretty popular here in Romania. Usually in the gypsy areas, they do stuff like this. So she tried to uh, bring a curse on him, but that curse she tried to bring on him turned back on her.
Oh,
and
okay.
on her family. Yeah. So her mother died. Uh, her daughter actually became possessed or attacked by demons. So I was
Okay.
like, whoa. I was like, whoa. This
Yeah.
means you should never play with stuff like this.
Yeah, you should never invoke
Or
curses upon former lovers.
yes, or I had some classmates when I was younger that tried that Ouija board, you know, and they didn't close that portal. You know, you have to say goodbye before basically ending the session with the spirit.
Right.
So because they didn't do that, a lot of weird stuff started happening in their house, like the same I told you before, for house doors smashing, floating chairs or and stuff like that, hearing weird noises, whispers even,
Right.
voices. So yeah, in the end they had to leave that house and move somewhere else.
Shit. Okay.
So
Well,
yeah.
cool. Yeah, that's definitely something to keep in mind. So as we return to the location topic for today, right? Would you say that living in Transylvania or the country of Romania all of your life so far has had an impact on the way that you write music? And if so, how specific can you get in either confirming or denying whether or not it does?
I don't think it does. I think this is more related to personal tastes when it comes to music. So,
Fair enough.
I
Yeah.
mean, uh, I noticed usually people, I mean, Romanian metalheads tend to like more doomish stuff, more melodic stuff. They are not that much into brutal death, technical death metal or stuff like that. They tend more to go in that side of gothic, doom, melodic stuff. So I think it's more related to personal tastes when it comes to composing music. So yeah, basically I think Romanians tend to like more stuff like that because I heard some stories that after communism, these type of bands were the first bands that actually played here inside the country and were among the first bands people really had access to. So yeah,
Fair enough. Okay. So, similar then to other musicians in similar genres local to Romania, maybe there isn't so much influence from the area as there is just a focus on for other bands and projects a slower, more ominous, more eerie tone in the music that you write. But for you yourself, you would say that you didn't exactly have this focus in mind when you were writing for Necrotomb, maybe, or Insanity Deification, because instead you just sought inspiration from bands all across the world that happen to not be
yeah,
local to you, to make sure to take that influence and see how you could incorporate it into these newer projects then local to your country.
yeah. Basically, I listen to a lot of bands daily, so I listen to a song, then it comes apart, and I'm thinking, well, if I was him, I would have done it differently, you know. And from there, I write a riff, and starting from that riff, an entire song, and this is how it goes,
Fair enough.
basically.
Alrighty.
Yeah,
Well, in that case, maybe not specific to Insanity Deification in reference to this session, but just in general, right? What would you say are 5 major bands that even today you listen to that you just naturally gravitate towards? Meaning, what are your 5 favorite bands of all time? And if you can't isolate bands, how about albums?
Well, my favorite band of all time is Cancer from the UK.
Okay.
Yeah, Cancer with Death Shall Rise, specifically. Then it comes Belfegor from Austria, black and death metal. With Conjuring the Dead. They released it in 2014, I think. They had cool albums before that, but I think that's their best one. Okay, so the third one I think would be Defeated Sanity with Disposal of the Dead.
Okay.
Let's see. The fourth one. I would say Morbid Angel with Covenant. And then the fifth one, I would say Marduk with Panzer Division.
Okay. Sick.
Their album from '99. So pretty diverse stuff.
No, absolutely. And that's a beautiful thing, right? Is that when it comes to learning someone's music taste, it's always nice to hear new bands that we've never heard on the show before. Whether they're big or they're small. Maybe they're local to your area, and that means possibly another opportunity to network and get more intimate with your region of the world, with your corner of the world. So, then, in reference to the EP that we're talking about this morning, the first 4-track EP by Insanity Deification, what would you say are 5 records that were important to writing that? Would they be the same ones? Would they be different? If they're different, how would you change up the order?
So I think maybe Defeated Sanity was a huge inspiration when it comes to writing Insanity Deification stuff. Basically for the chugging parts.
Right.
Yeah. Scattered Remnants as well. I love that band. Let's see. Sepsism from the US. Eternal Suffering, as I said. Disgorge as well. Actually, I've seen Disgorge in March this year. They were touring with Defeated Sanity, but now they are called To Violently Vomit, you know.
Okay.
And actually Putrid Pile inspired me to start this project. Because I've seen Putrid Pile live. Actually, they were touring with Defeated Sanity and Disgorge. So
okay.
I said, if he can do it, I can do it too.
Fair enough. Awesome.
Yeah.
So I do believe then that would conclude the people part of the podcast this morning on the 11th of October. One of 2 sessions we will be improvising and recording last minute before I go into a job working as a kitchen supervisor at a prison. Now we go into the second half of the Anatomy Crosscast, what I do believe will be episode 105, returning us to Romania through Filip of Insanity Deification. So then, Filip, we will have you depersonalized for this later half of the session. We're no longer asking about you. We love you, but no offense. So instead, we're asking about the project, and we have a couple questions to ask, and hopefully people who will be seeking these answers in the future as this project develops. We have a consistent imagery, like I mentioned before, of Medusa, which I think is going to be really, really fun for your discography as it continues. However, we got to start with the basic questions, right? Maybe in the future, people see you performing live. Maybe you manage to acquire a full lineup. Who knows what the future may hold. But now is those simpler questions that people might be asking as they approach your merch table, sweaty, or maybe freezing cold with a little bit of sweat over at Romania local music venues. First question would be, where did the name Insanity Deification come from?
Yeah, it's a good question. I actually didn't think about it that much. Just I like how it sounds. So I tried a couple of names, but at the same time, I didn't want them to be that gory because I think it's overdone, the gory aspect. This is why the Medusa theme as well. So I wanted something more profound, you know.
Yeah. So
So
then, even if the project name was rather improvised at the beginning, if you had to apply this to the theme through imagery, through visualization of Medusa, how do you think the term insanity deification then correlates with Medusa as a character, and why?
because usually Medusa is seen as a violent force, as a violent deity, like an insane deity. So some people in the ancient Greek were actually venerating Medusa. So I think this is how it may relate to the theme.
Okay. And after all, deification, right, is defined in definition as, quote, the act of elevating a person or thing to the status of a god or the state of being considered divine. So through insanity, maybe Medusa, and through victimization, as is depicted in the original myth of Medusa, maybe through insanity, rage, and victimization, are we presented this deification or deification of Medusa and what she plans to do to take her revenge on humanity and her oppressors.
Exactly. Basically, yes. That's how I would say it. So.
Okay. And therefore we sowed lore. Awesome. So then, continuing and kind of bouncing off of that question, what do you think right now separates Insanity Deification from other bands in the slam community, in the brutal death metal community, and why?
Well, I can say I'm 100% original because I'm not, and I believe a lot of stuff was made during the years that, of course, you can always do and bring new stuff to the table, but it's pretty hard, you know. So I wouldn't say it's actually, musically speaking, original, but I think this Medusa theme is what makes it stand out more. And I think it's more I think someone who likes basic death metal can enjoy it too.
Okay.
No, so because of the chugging parts.
Right. So perhaps then Insanity Deification doesn't claim to be original in music composition, but maybe people who can appreciate older forms of death metal can gravitate towards it. 1, 2, I guess, to answer a question with a question, throughout the entire discography of this project, should we expect the continuous imagery and depiction, incorporation of Medusa into single or album artwork?
Yes, of course, in every single one.
And that's
what I'm planning to do.
There you go. And in my opinion, sometimes having a mascot, having a character could easily be the way that you distinguish yourself from other bands in the slam or death metal community. So.
Yes, I mean, I love brutal death. I love slam. but there are a lot of bands that sound the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to distinguish them because basically this is how this genre sounds. So of course you can do more than that and implement more stuff, but yeah, this is how it is basically. So you have to come up with something to stand out more.
Yeah, absolutely.
And in my case was this Medusa theme.
There you go. Let's see.
Yeah.
And in your opinion, other than the chugs, because that's already an answer that you provided, what to you is the most important part about writing a song, a new song for Insanity Deification?
Well, I like riffs. I mean, I like the song to have more than 3 riffs. Even,
Okay.
I mean, for some people that might be overwhelming, but usually I do music that I would like to listen to. So basically, what I'm doing with Insanity Deification is what I would like to hear from other bands. You know?
Fair enough. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I do believe now would be a better time than ever to dive headfirst and go under the skin of your first EP. This has been, this was released on December 13th of last year, so we're getting closer to it having been a year since its release. This EP is called Spared by the Gorgon's Gaze. EP cover is super sick. I remember, I think, finding you personally for the sake of looking back and thinking about like how this session came to be, right? So looking back, we started talking May 20th, so spring of this year.
Yeah.
A good chunk of time, really, after this EP
Yeah.
came out, but thankfully not too long after it came out. And I remember the conversation was pretty casual. It was pretty simple. I'm like, hey, you looking to jump on the show? Yeah, a podcast? Yeah. And then we got everything kickstarted. But since then, you know, going to your Spotify page, you currently have 40 monthly listeners. I think this is to be expected because there's only an EP out so far. And hopefully
Yeah.
after the recording of the session, that will take a drastic turn. Maybe, like with Backyard Savagery based in Utah, we offer then and utilize our platform to promote this band. And if you wish, of course, good old Philip, hopefully then this project becomes a bigger thing and you can have more people
Yeah.
working with you and perfecting it, making it bigger than ever. I can only hope for that. But currently you have 40 monthly listeners and, well, let's see, it's Serpent-Headed Monstrosity is your most played song over on Spotify, but we have 4 tracks on this EP. So if you could provide us a back of the book summary for Spared by the Gorgon's Gaze, say this was a short story, a short book, what would be the back of the book summary for this 4-chapter story?
Well, I choose this theme for the band based on the God of War game series.
Ah, that's cool. Okay.
Yeah, because I'm a big fan of the first, of the Greek era of God of War. So basically, the backstory of this AP is that, at least is what I noticed, everybody was afraid of the Medusa. Because, of course, she was turning everyone to stone and was violent and was attacking everybody, and someone had to stop it, you know?
Fair enough. Okay. So then
Yeah.
this is simply an introduction to the wrath of Medusa,
Yeah.
which happens to be insanity through deification after victimization. And that's kind of what the story of Medusa is by itself. So then turning the story of Medusa, also inspired by the events that correlated with Medusa inside of God of War, we have then this project, right? So then we get started with track 1 of the EP, which is pretty self-explanatory. It's just introducing us to Medusa, but what makes serpent-headed monstrosity unique? As the first ever track on an extended press Insanity Deification release. Like, why did we start with a track like this? Why is it named this? Take it away, sir.
Well, I think it's among the most catchiest song from the EP because of the chugs.
Awesome.
Of course, I feel it has elements. I think attack, death, endure might find pleasing. Simple death metal endure might find it pleasing. So yeah, it has everything for everybody. Blast beats, alternate picking and stuff. Oh.
Awesome. So we go right out the gate then, musically speaking, with a whole bunch of different catchy stuff, and probably the reason why it is the most listened to song on Spotify. Does that make sense? Right out the gate, just really fun, really catchy. A great way to introduce everyone to this project. Track 2, we have Gorgon's Veil.
This one is like a continuation of the first one. Actually, this was the first song I ever written for this project. And then Serpent-Headed Monstrosity came, but I decided to order them like this to make the EP feel like a continuation, like a story, you know.
Fair enough.
So it just felt right.
Yeah.
To put it there the second.
And when you're operating a project by yourself, sometimes you kind of just have to go with instinct. Like that's just how it works.
Yeah.
So awesome. Yeah. Track 3, we have The Eyes That Blind. Medusa, for sure. And is this song maybe talking about the petrification, or is it introducing us to the premise of Medusa and her power? Like, what's different about this one compared to the other 3?
Yes, this one basically shows the full potential of the Medusa and what her power can do the victim, and actually what the victim feels in the moment of being petrified.
Okay, I like that. Cool. And the 4th track, Metamorphic Petrification. I can only imagine this is the end result. Like, this is like, oh yeah, I've been turned to stone. I'm doomed for all eternity.
This is like the final stage.
Fair enough. Okay.
I'm dead.
So in that case then, my friend, because, you know, you're still writing this project solo, obviously you have next a 10-track album coming out. So why did that album not end up becoming an EP, like a second EP?
No, because I wrote the EP. It actually did pretty well. It was released on CD by CBDC Records from Russia. Was released on Jewel KCD and Digipack CDs, and also I think they still have some shirts left.
Okay.
and they were supposed to release this album as well. I mean the deal was for the EP and the album, so I made the album. But because of personal reasons, they can't put it out anymore. But they managed to talk with a label from the UK to pick it up from them.
Okay.
So it will be released in physical format.
Sweet. Okay. And
Yeah.
then at the end of the Under the Skin session for, this first EP, and to quote the name, that way I don't sound like too much of an asshole, Spared by the Gorgon's Gaze. I was about to say something else, and I'm like, we should probably quote the EP title, shouldn't we? So after then doing an Under the Skin session for Spared by the Gorgon's Gaze, we're recollecting upon this EP before possibly later this year we have Filip return for this new 10-track full-length album. What would you say, in your opinion, not grand scale, just in your humble opinion, distinguishes Spared by the Gorgon's Gaze from other iconic records, albums, EPs, maybe even standalone singles that were relevant to its creation? Meaning, what do you think makes this EP different from the albums that inspired it?
I think the ideas, I mean, musically speaking, are different ideas from different places and all put together, so it can create the final product. Basically, I have a lot of technical parts in this album, but it also has like an old school approach to it, So it's like a blend of old stuff with new stuff, It's like a middle way between these two.
Fair enough. Okay. So
I mean, this is how I feel about it.
right, and really that's all that matters.
Yeah.
It's all about that perspective from the person who created this stuff. So then, truly speaking, simply speaking, Spared by the Gorgon's Gaze ends up being a bridge, or maybe even an affair-born child from all of these different bands that inspired the record in the first place, which, that's just chemistry. That's just how that works. You mix different aspects from each of those records, and then you have this first EP. I can only then imagine how this 10-track full-length album you got coming up will sound as well. And so we have this EP then, Spared by the Gorgon's Gaze. Pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory. I will be listening to this EP as soon as possible, possibly at the end of today when I get off of work, just so we can get everything like tied in together, right? And ultimately, this is meant to be a sample EP. This is meant to introduce us to what this project is capable of narratively, or within its musical compositions. So following this one then, we have separately released on September 3rd of this year, Solidify the Carnage. Is this meant to be a standalone single, or is this part of a bigger thing? Okay.
This is basically a standalone single I did for that graphic novel called Blood Equinox.
Okay.
I don't know if it was already released or it's about to be released. I mean, they contacted me and said, hey, we want to do a song because the first chapter of the novel is about the Medusa and I think it would fit with the theme of your band.
Right.
And I said, yes, of course. They handled me the first chapter, and based on that, I wrote the song for them.
Sweet.
So it's like a mutual thing. Like I promote them, they promote me. So
beautiful.
Yeah.
And I do like the way that the art is assembled. We do have the continuation of imagery depicting Medusa, this time getting slain by a warrior, by a hero, if you will.
Yeah, that's the main character of that graphic novel.
Awesome. And so is this graphic novel then contained within a collaboratory album that has yet to be released, or?
No, it's just a single, but you mentioned an album. Yes, I'm planning to release one.
Okay.
I mean, I already have the artwork ready. The tracks are recorded. I think Tomorrow, actually, I have to receive the final master of the
Nice.
album.
Good timing
So
then.
if you want, I can show you the artwork now
Sure. Yeah, that would be
exclusively.
awesome.
So, yeah, it's a 10-track album.
Okay.
I think I mean, just from my point of view, I feel this album is more aggressive than the AP. Like the album starts pretty fast. The first four songs are pretty fast. So from the fifth song till the 10th song, the album starts getting more chuggy and briefy. You know,
Okay. Cool.
like the first four songs are based more on technical parts than chugs. You know.
Sweet. So you
So
already have your next album ready to go. Oh my
yes, I don't
lord.
know if you can see it.
I can only
No,
see it a little bit.
no, let me like this.
Ah, there we go. Ooh, that looks so sick. Okay. So that's going to be the first full length for this project, and you're getting the mix and master
Yes.
tomorrow?
Yeah.
Wow, that is
Actually, yes.
wild. Imagine we're gonna have
Yeah.
another celestial scourge occurrence where like we end up getting another insanity deification session cooked up by the end of the year for this new album. That's really cool though. That album, the artwork looks fantastic, and you said you're planning to
Thank you.
assemble a story for it too,
Uh, yeah, basically,
like a graphic
I
novel. I mean,
continued this. Yeah, I mean that single is just for the graphic novel. Like this is the continuation of the AP. You
okay,
know,
I see. That's
like
awesome.
uh, from from this point, the Medusa starts fighting the gods, basically the gods of Olympus and even of the underworld. You know,
Okay, okay.
and she plans to destroy absolutely everything. This is why in the picture it's basically Medusa in the middle, surrounded by petrified Spartans. You know,
Sweet. And in that case,
yeah,
I mean, since then, we were talking before about, expansion for the band itself. Does this pardon me, as of this next 10-track album, you getting the mix and master for that as of tomorrow, has the
yeah.
lineup for this project changed, or are you still like writing this album solo?
Oh, just me.
Oh man, okay.
Just me. The only new thing I implemented in this one are the low growls. So are not
Oh,
just brutal death gutturals, are low growls as well. You know,
okay, cool. All right,
to create more of diversity. You know.
sweet. So, really, this was a shorter session of the Anatomy Crosscast, episode 105, as of today on October 11th, 2025. And currently, let's see, what do we got for time? It's currently 7:57 a.m., so quite literally, this is one of the shortest sessions that we've done in a long time. But we're not quite done, because I want to ask you at the end of this session, what are some strong points of this podcast, of this show? What are some weak points of this show, in your opinion? Just maybe isolating it to the session we had this morning. And after that, well, let's go ahead and start with those two questions. I want your honest critique about the show.
No, I loved it. Like I can say it's pretty diverse regarding the questions comparing to other shows I've watched. So I have no negative opinions about it. I really loved it, to be honest. It was
Sweet.
pretty entertaining.
Awesome.
Like I really enjoyed it.
Awesome. I
So
appreciate that.
keep 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 doing it.
Oh yeah, well, until the end of time, until I start growing grace. So in that case, if you have no negative critique to offer, which really is appreciated, I just I await the day that you check out the other sessions and just like, man, we could have taken a lot more time asking shit. I'm like, yeah, I know, but it was early morning, looking back later on in time. So then at the end of this, I always love asking this question, not for the sake of clickbait networking or any of the other shit, but maybe you want to see other bands involved as well. So, what are some other bands that you would want to see on the Anatomy Crosscast as of this session, and this session alone?
Maybe Gorgasm.
Gorgasm? Okay.
If you, yeah. Uh, Maybe you could bring Scattered Remnants because they reunited and they have a new single, and from what I heard they plan to release a new album. So maybe you can do something interesting about that, because nobody else took an interview of them now after they reunited, so it's your chance.
An opportunity indeed to jump into. So we got Gorgasm and Scattered Remnants. Who else? Of course, we got to get Necrotomb on, but, you know, that's just me.
Yeah. Maybe you can try with Analepsy from Portugal.
Oh, man. I've been reaching out to them pretty consistently, yeah.
Because their singer is Romanian, actually. I know him.
Oh, really?
Kalin. It's his name. Yes. He also has another brutal death metal band called Necrovile. Maybe you heard of it.
I haven't heard of it. There's a lot of necro bands out there.
Yeah, and he also played in Pestilence for 5 years, I think.
Okay. Well, I mean, if you could do me a favor, because I did send an email out to them recently, if you can reach out to them and let them know that I'm interested, because really you are the fourth person to want to possibly see Analepsy on the Anatomy Crosscast. You are the fourth artist, the fourth guest this year alone, mind you, who wants to see them on this show. Well, maybe if they have enough push, they'll finally look at the email. We'll see.
Yeah, actually, I can talk to Kalin because the next week I have a show and I'm opening for one of his bands, so
badass.
I can solve this pretty quick.
Let's do it.
I can ask him.
Let's do it. Okay. Well, in that case, with great anticipation for a potential future session for Gorgasm, Scattered Remnants, Necrotomb, another band that Filip is involved in that turned into a full-fledged band, and then Analepsy at the very tail end of that, I do believe that will be the end of episode 105 of the Anatomy Crosscast, hosting for the first EP spared by the Gorgon's Gaze, Insanity, Deification, a Romanian local one-man slam band with Medusa as its mascot, and most likely a band that will be returning by the end of this year for their second or their first full-length album featuring 10 tracks, sequeling then an EP that I have yet to listen to. But this has been Sean Cross, your one and only true counterculture music history podcast host, making history in counterculture session by session with every band that we've ever hosted, right? This has been the Anatomy Crosscast. Anything else you want to say before we head out, Filip?
Just support the underground scene.
Support the underground scene. I like that. Simple, sweet, but for the maybe the you know what, I was onto something. It's still super early. I need to go back to bed for a little bit. But this has been the Anatomy Crosscast. Thank you all for listening to this shorter session. Wait in anticipation for the next one, and we'll see you then. Bye.